Hey everyone, Kyle Walker here. If you love cars, fixing things, or just want to understand your vehicle better, you're in the right place. I share hands-on tips, smart driving advice, and straight-up car talk without the fluff. Make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and stick around till the end. You don't want to miss what's coming up. Let's get into
The number
it.
of accidents and traffic accidents is counted in hundreds, maybe even thousands per day. The extent of damage to cars, drivers, and their passengers varies from simple psychological shock to fatalities. Not always, even experienced drivers can cope with the control or prevent the mistakes of other road users. Rarely, but still cars end up in the water. This is the result of a collision, loss of control, or simply exceeding the speed limit. A person may not be injured by the fall into the water itself. The main danger is the water itself, which gradually fills the interior of the vehicle. And here it is important not to lose composure, not to be frightened, but to collect oneself, to start acting, and to keep cool. After all, sometimes it is necessary not only to save yourself, but also to help other people. The minutes count. Therefore, do not hesitate. It is necessary to remember how to get out of the sinking car. Using a certain and clear algorithm of actions, it must be strictly followed if you suddenly find yourself in a similar situation. Key rules. A person can perfectly know the theory, but absolutely not be able to apply it in practice. Because when you find yourself in a real extreme or dangerous situation, panic begins. The driver freezes from fear and gets lost. But with stupor can and should be fought. No one is immune to car accidents and falls into the water, nor should you count on the fact that it will never happen to you in your life. It is much better to memorize the main rules, and if necessary, apply them. This will save not only your own life, but also the lives of passengers who are also in the car. Falling into the water in a car, it is vital for a person to cope with panic, to be ready for a confrontation, quickly unbuckle your seatbelt, open the window, consider the time, consider water pressure, break the window if necessary, get to the surface, help others. To better understand the essence of each of the rules, they should be studied in more detail. The problem of panic. No one disputes the fact that when getting into such an accident, when the car is in the water, a person becomes very frightened. Avoiding panic is extremely difficult because there is water around. It quickly fills the cabin, and it is hard for a person to concentrate. But the loss of self-control is the most important reason for the fatal outcome of such accidents. If a person panics, the chances of rescue are greatly reduced. The car sinks quickly, so it is not worth counting on the prompt help of rescuers. A person must realize that there are no rescuers except for him. Panic makes you waste energy and air. But most importantly, the loss of self-control spends the most important resource, which is time. Finding yourself in the water, being locked in the car, concentrate, focus, and remember all that you have learned in similar situations. This will be the starting point for your successful rescue. Collision. There is a popular belief that a person can get out of a sinking car quite easily once the car is in the water. It is only necessary to land and then start acting. But after getting out of the car, many people realize that it was necessary to prepare not only to unbuckle the belt or to open the doors. A big role is how properly you prepare for contact with water. It is a mistake to think of a fall into water as a soft fall. When the car hits the surface, there is a very strong impact. It has the potential to provoke serious injuries. Experts compare some falls in water to hitting a pole. First, place your hands on the steering wheel correctly. This is a vital rule. They must be in a strictly defined position. If we imagine the hands of a clock, we put the right hand at 3 o'clock and the left hand at 9 o'clock. This is the most correct and only correct positioning, especially when the car is equipped with airbags. Some people keep their hands at 2 and 10 o'clock. But this is an erroneous position, because when the airbag goes off, it will definitely hit your hands. Your hands will fly towards your own head, which promises serious injuries, possible loss of consciousness, concussion, etc. Surviving a collision by acting correctly at the moment of contact with the surface of the water significantly increases your own chances of a successful outcome of the accident. Since you remain conscious and your hands are intact, further actions will not be a big problem for you. Seatbelt. It may seem difficult to unbuckle your seatbelt, but for many people it becomes a fatal problem. The reason is again in panic. The person forgets to unbuckle, starts jerking, gets himself confused and falls into an even more serious trap. It's all about consistency. As soon as the impact has occurred and the car is in the water, quickly unbuckle the belt with a click. If there are passengers in the car, including adults and children, contrary to popular belief, it is the adults who should be unbuckled first. They will help unbuckle the children if necessary. If there are only children in the car, the same principle applies. First the older ones, and then the younger ones. But what you should not do in such a situation is to try to get personal belongings, keep your wallet or call someone. The car is sinking very rapidly, and no one will wait for you to dial a number. Drop everything but people. Everything else in this situation is irrelevant. Statistics clearly show that the phone was the cause of a large number of deaths in a sinking car. Instead of unbuckling and getting out, people tried to call for help for no reason. In the case of a sinking car, even the fastest rescuers will not be physically able to arrive in time. The car would already be underwater, filling up quickly, and getting people out alive would be extremely problematic. It is necessary to remember again that you can only count on yourself. Open the window if the car is equipped with electric window lifters. It is worth remembering that the operability of the electrics and electronics in the car remains about 2 to 3 minutes after getting into the water, and this time should be used. Do not waste it in vain, because then it will be difficult and maybe even impossible to do it. Read also, what benefits gives the KBM coefficient, why it is needed, and how to find out its size. Often people start opening the doors instead of using the windows. Physically lowering the window is easier than pushing the door open with water pressure on it. You can really forget about the doors. It takes only a few seconds after falling into the water to open them. Do not try, as you will again waste time and effort. It's all about high pressure, which affects the outside of the car. Only a physically very strong person will be able to open the door, and then, the chances are not so great. Even if the door can be opened, you will only worsen your own situation. It is recommended to get out through the window. While the door is closed, the car will be slower to fill with water. Therefore, the speed of its fall to the bottom will be reduced. Usually with the doors closed, the car can last from 30 seconds to several minutes. If you decide to open the doors after falling into the water, the interior will instantly fill up, displacing all the air and creating an additional obstacle for drowning. The car will reach the bottom in literally 5 to 10 seconds. Remember that the heavier part of the car will go underwater first. This is the side where the engine is located. That is, the rear part on front engine cars is scraped upwards. In the first 10 to 30 seconds, there is an opportunity to move to the rear seats and open the doors on their side, if they are not already underwater. Before getting out of a sinking car, make sure all passengers are unbuckled so they can follow you. We get out strictly one at a time. No pushing. Help each other, not get in the way. The 2-minute rule statistics clearly show, and experts confirm that a person has about 2 minutes to rescue. It is during this period that the chances are maximized. Depending on the situation, a vehicle after falling on the water can last from 30 to 120 seconds on the surface. It is this period that should be used to save yourself. The deeper the car starts to sink, the less chance of getting out. Do not think that 2 minutes is extremely short. This time is more than enough to save everyone who was in the car. If to exclude the factor of panic, to act according to the algorithm, and to keep calm, even 30 seconds will be enough for a person to be outside. The rest of the time is better used to help other people. Pressure equalization. There is a very common belief that when falling into the water to rescue, it is necessary to wait until the pressure inside and outside the car is equalized. There are some nuances to consider here. When the vehicle is submerged in water, the pressure inside the car and outside is really different. Because of this, it is almost impossible for a person to open the doors with his or her own hands. In order for the door to open, it is supposedly necessary to wait until the water fills the interior of the car. Then the pressure from both sides will be equal, which will allow the door to open safely. This is a senseless and very dangerous rule, which should not be adhered to. Yes, in theory everything sounds right, because with equal pressure it is easier to open the doors. But there is one problem. It's the water that fills the cabin. Since a person cannot breathe underwater, such a plan of action will lead to severe consequences. The person will simply choke and run out of air before the pressure can be equalized. Broken glass, you should not always count on the fact that you will be able to open the door or open a window and then escape through it. It also happens that a person does not have time to orient himself while there was an opportunity to open doors or windows. But you should not give up. You can always try to break the window. For such purposes, you should use anything that comes to hand. If you have a sharp object and are able to apply enough force, aim for the center. A woman's slim heel and a kicking heel will help. In other situations, it is recommended to hit the weak points on the sides or top of the side window. Do not hit the bottom part of the window. There the glass is held most firmly. Only the side windows should be broken. Although movies show heroes breaking a windshield with a single blow, this will not work in real life, even in water. Windshields use special compounds and reinforcements to prevent them from breaking. The probability of escaping through the side windows is much higher. A variety of objects can be used, but heavy, sharp, and metal objects are best. A coring iron is ideal. It can be bought and hung on a bunch of keys. A good assistant in emergency situations. If you don't have a puncher, take your car keys. Before getting out, try to get a full lungful of air. There's no telling how deep you'll sink. If there is not enough oxygen, it will be difficult to reach the surface. By breaking the window, air will start to flow into the cabin. Grasp the window opening with your hands and move against the pressure. Since the window is not very large, it is possible to overcome the flow of water. You have no other choice. Do not try to push children out first. You should get out first and then help your child. If you push them out of the water, you will not be able to control what they do next. The children may be swept away by the current or they may panic. It is better if they are in your hands when you begin to surface. Also, remember to control your feet when climbing out through broken glass. You should work with your hands so that you don't kick other people and injure them. Climbing out after breaking a window and starting to climb out through it. Many people think they have escaped. It's not that simple. Floating out also carries a certain danger. Read also, features of first aid to victims of road accidents. Once outside the vehicle, try to concentrate, look around to understand where you are and where to go. If the water is relatively clear and the depth is shallow, you can see the surface by light. Air bubbles will also help you. They only ever move upwards. Try to push off strongly from some support and swim upwards. But do not forget that there you can also wait for danger in the form of currents, debris, various structures, etc. Once on the surface, call for help. If possible, get to shore. If the car has not been badly swept away, the person is often not far from land when they surface. Because people are in severe shock, they may not realize they have been seriously injured. Examine your body for wounds, injuries, and fractures. Start calling attention to yourself to passers-by or passing motorists. Call an ambulance. And if there is anyone left in the car and you can't help them get out, call the emergency services immediately. Helping others, not always the driver, is in the car alone. Once underwater, you need to think not only about yourself, but also about other passengers. There are a few rules about this. Do not panic or create a crowd by getting out through one window. Unbuckle yourself and the adults first, then the children. If the children are old enough, try to push them out first. For younger children, the rule is different. The adult is chosen first, and then the child is pulled. One adult is enough to rescue the children. I.e. Do not leave the children last in the car. Take very young children in your arms and get out with them. When outside the car, try to give a hand to other passengers to speed up the rescue process. Often a person has to choose whether to save himself or help others. This is not only a question of conscience or heroism, but also of the instinct of self-preservation. Many people, because of panic or instincts, think only about themselves, forgetting about the other passengers. To condemn a person for not helping others is not quite right in such situations. But when there is a real opportunity to help, it should be taken. When the hostages in a sinking car are a family, the driver is unlikely to hesitate to help the others or not. But if they are strangers to each other, who happen to be in the same car, quite often everyone is on his own. Useful general advice. Everyone can find themselves in such a situation. It is almost impossible to foresee or prevent it. In addition to all the recommendations described above, we can add a few more tips. Think of the children first. Just don't confuse it with having to push them out first or reaching for their seat belts without unbuckling yours. To help others, you need to help yourself first. Unbuckle yourself, and then start helping your children. If you can't reach them, then help another adult first so they can help the child. Turn on your headlights. This will help in a situation where you cannot get out on your own. The light of the headlights will allow rescuers to see the car in the water. Also be sure to try to turn on the headlights if not everyone gets out. Forget about anything unnecessary. You can try to take your phone, keys, or documents with you, but it is not always necessary. But getting rid of shoes and heavy clothes is highly recommended. Valuable things lose their value when lives are at stake. After getting out of the car, the rescuers will then help to get the car. What you need, you can pick up later. Sit and wait. It's an extremely controversial rule, but sometimes it's the only thing that can help. It's about equalizing pressure. You can't just sit around. Try opening or breaking a window. If nothing works, you have to take your chances and wait for the interior to fill with water. As the water fills, try to open the doors. Once it gives way, get out. Do not waste precious time and the remaining oxygen. You can only rely on yourself. Hoping that you will sit in the car, and at that time rescuers will already be coming down to you, is extremely foolish. Even in theory, it is virtually impossible. It takes time to prepare a rescue operation, and definitely more time than a person has to save their own life. Metal objects. They will be the perfect tool for breaking a window. If a prudent person buys himself a puncher and will keep it always at hand, it's great. But this rarely happens. That's why you need to look around and think about what can help you. Given the weight, construction, and shape of the metal rod and the headrest, it's the first thing you should try to break the window with. You can grasp the soft part firmly with your hands and, with enough force, hit the metal end exactly in the center, or hit the top edge. Do not break out the glass with your hand. Otherwise, you can cause severe injury that will prevent both hands from being used in the rescue. No one disputes that it is very scary to be in a sinking car. But fear should not restrain you, because in such a situation you can only rely on yourself. It depends on you whether you will be able to survive and save the other passengers. With the right algorithm of actions, you can get out quickly and safely. Your adequate thinking and consistency will play a key role here. Even when the situation does not develop in your favor, there are always chances. And they are quite high. The vast majority of fatal falls into the water are caused by panic, as well as improper preparation for the collision. If you exclude these two factors, you can be saved. And the probability of a successful outcome of a terrible accident is quite high. Believe in yourself, in your own strength, and do not give in to panic. In conclusion, knowing how to respond in the event of a sinking car can be a lifesaver. Remember to stay calm, unbuckle your seatbelt, and roll down or break a window as quickly as possible. If you can't escape through the window, wait until the water fills the car to equalize the pressure before opening the door. Always prioritize your safety and practice these steps to ensure you are prepared for any emergency. Stay safe and be aware of your surroundings.